What's up, Raider Nation? Thank you for tuning in to another commitment to bring you excellent podcast. Please hit like and subscribe. I really appreciate it if you help a boy out. Um, so I want to kind of talk about this draft that has just concluded. I can honestly say that this is probably the first draft since 2014 that I feel real comfortable about. Obviously in that draft in 2014, we got Khalil Mack, Derek Carr, Gabe Jackson, Justin Jelly Ellis, Shelby Harris. So um, I can say that, as I was thinking, I was like, man, that's really got to be the last class that I felt really good about. So for Tom Telesco and AP to do what they did in this draft, it's pretty amazing. So I'm going to kind of tell you guys how I feel. I want to know how you guys feel about this draft. And I'm going to kind of break down the draft picks for you guys. That way you can kind of get a good understanding of who Tom Telesco and AP brought into that building. What I liked about what they did was that they were methodical. They didn't reach. They grabbed in the first two rounds. They grabbed best player available. They didn't panic. They didn't try to go after someone that they didn't feel that was the right fit. Even though that the first two rounds we didn't go for need, or they didn't address the areas of need. I think they still did a really good job of how they went about their business. If you've seen the video that I talked about Brock Bowers after he was drafted, my first reaction was like, man, really, what are we doing? I mean, Raiders doing the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Is going after someone that I didn't feel that we needed. We just drafted Michael Mayer a year ago, and now we're bringing in another tight end. I had to, after about 30 seconds of that, I had to kind of pull myself back, reel myself back in, and think about exactly what that pick meant. Obviously, Talisa Fuaga, Quinyon Mitchell, Terrion Arnold, all needs was sitting there on the board, and we went tight end, and he was the best player available. I mean, he was rated on some boards top 5. I know he was top 7 on a lot of the boards. So I mean, you got a top 5, top 7 talent at 13 that was just sitting there, staring you in the face. You got to take it. And then for what they can do with that weapon, as I talked about in the 12 personnel package that they can run. With those two, is going to be deadly. So I thought that was a great pick. And then, people was asking me, okay, so, round 1, they went tight end. What do you think they're going to do round 2? You think they're going to go, now start adding for need, tackle, cornerback or whatever. And I said, if anything, that Tom Telesco showed us in round 1. He showed us that he's going to take best player available. So I don't expect anything other than, that's what he showed me. I don't expect anything other than, probably taking the best player available. And then come, round 2, that's exactly what he did. He took center guard Jackson Powers Johnson, JPJ. I do got to say, I've never owned a offensive lineman jersey. But I'm probably going to go get this guy's jersey just because of how nasty he is, and he's just, I mean, his whole family's a Raider fan. He's a Raider fan. He talked about going to Raider games as a kid, so he bleeds that silver and black. So I think I'm gonna go get this guy's jersey. Be my first offensive lineman jersey. But that's what they went in round 2, and you can't argue the pick. I mean, he was a top 25, top 30, talent, and we got him at 44, and it does fit a need. Even though we got Andre James at center, he can play guard. We needed a We needed a right guard. That was a hole, and he can fill that hole. And also, if something happens, we need to, move him to, like, left guard. If something happens to Dylan Parham, if something happens to Andre James, he has that center flexibility as well. So I think that was a great pick. So Jackson Powers Johnson, I looked at his career. He has 714 career pass blocking opportunities, and he gave up 0 sacks, and only gave up 1 quarterback hit. He won the Remington Award and earned All-American. So that's the talent that we're getting, to win, the best offensive lineman award. He was All-American. He gave up 0 sacks in his college career, only 1 quarterback hit. That's someone that's going to be anchoring down that offensive line for a decade for us. So Raider Nation, appreciate that pick. That was a great pick. Going back to Brock Bowers, and the flexibility, part of it, and the weapon and being a threat, like I said, out of that 12 personnel. But he can bring so much more to the game. He's listed as a tight end, but he's more of a weapon. He can line up in that 12 personnel, see what kind of package that the defense is in. He can slide out to the slot. Now you got the linebacker, sliding out with him, or he's got a strong safety on him that's not really a covering, safety, and he can eat him up. He also, you can put him at running back, or you can run him on sweeps. I mean, he had 19 carries for 192 yards and 5 touchdowns in his career. So he's a running threat as well. So that's the type of weapon that, the Raiders brought into the building. So that's 2 for 2. And one more thing on Jackson Powers Johnson, what I like about it, as far as that, again, why I said that I'm probably going to get his jersey is when he got the call from Tom Telesco and AP said, hey, we need you to move some people around. We need you to bring that nastiness. And JPJ said, I'm ready. I'm gonna come whoop some ass for you, coach. So he's already talked about going to war, and that's what I'm talking about. That's what I like. So he's talking about, I'm gonna whoop some ass for you, coach, and I believe he. So round 3, we get Delmar DJ Glaze, tackle from Maryland. He's 6'4", 315, but he has a wingspan of 7 foot. So even though he's 6'4", he does have long arms. He got a long wingspan, so that way that kind of helps him to be able to to direct and engage in defensive ends and D tackles or whatever that's rushing in, and be able to counter whatever moves they that they're trying to display because of that long wingspan, and he also has big hands. So when he engages with you, you're pretty much stuck. I mean, you're not going anywhere. So that's one of his good traits. He started 40 games in his college career, 32 starts. He has 15 starts at left tackle, and he has 17 starts at right tackle. PFF has graded him the 6th best pass blocking offensive lineman coming out in this draft at an 87.9. Going back to Jackson Powers Johnson, he was number 1 on PFF grade with the 91.7 pass blocking grade. So we got 2 of the top 6 pass blocking offensive linemen in this draft. So, I mean, I know a lot of people didn't know who Delmar Glaze was, but if you go back and look at the Senior Bowl and how he, Senior Bowl practice and in the Senior Bowl game, he was dominant. And he was dominant against, NFL talent. Obviously, those guys are there, and they're going to get drafted to the pros. So he was displaying what he can do on the NFL level there at the Senior Bowl, and that's kind of, what caught the eye of the scouts. And obviously, the scouts went back, looked at his film, looked at his tape, and saw that there was something there. Now he is, he does have some things that he needs to clean up and he needs to work on, especially in the running game. He's definitely elite pass blocking, but he has to, work on his footwork and work on his leverage in the run game. But getting with NFL coaches and being able to coach him up in that aspect, he has high talent, a high ceiling. So I understand why Tom Telesco and AP brought Glaze in the building. And also, too, you got to look at it. AP said he's going to be the gatekeeper. He's just not going to let anybody come in the building that is not a Raider. If you do not fit what the Raiders way, then you're not going to get in this building. So looking at those three guys embodies what the Raiders are trying to do, what the Raiders are bringing to the field, the culture that AP has established. So he's just not going to let somebody come in and interrupt that. So now you're 3 for 3 in that aspect with the first 3 picks that they drafted. So I am completely, like I said, at this point after the 3rd pick, I'm just beside myself because I'm like, okay, now we're 3 for 3. Again, when's the last time that we can say after 3 picks that 1, we didn't reach, 2, we don't know who the player is. We're scrambling around trying to figure out who the hell this guy is that we drafted. You're hearing the draft analysts, you're hearing the people on TV like, oh, here we go again. The Raiders, overdrafting the player. Player that's that should have been drafted, 7th round or an undrafted player. The Raiders took him in the 2nd round. So we didn't have to deal with that. I think Atlanta Falcons got that title this year on what they did and a couple of picks that they've had. So I mean, they're pretty much getting killed by the national media, and it's very nice to sit here after the draft, or honestly during the draft, and not hearing our name in that aspect of what are they doing, who are they drafting, why they draft this player. So that it was very enlightening after the first 3 rounds so far. So round 4, we get cornerback DeCamerion Richardson from Mississippi State. Very intriguing talent. He's tall, he's long. What I like about it is he is still growing at the position. He doesn't have that many, snaps as far as being a cornerback. He hasn't played the position, all that long. He was a 2-way player in high school, where he was running back and cornerback. In high school, he had 1,206 yards rushing and 14 touchdowns in high school. So he was doing double duty. And then obviously when he went to college or whatever, he had the, red shirt freshman year. So I think he has maybe 2 years of playing time at the college level. So he's still kind of learning the position, but he's very, very sticky coverage, man press coverage. I think he ran a 4.34 40, so he's really fast, and you can tell the burst that he has. Even though, like, say for instance, he gets beat, he has that makeup speed to make up ground and get back into the play. So I think this is a really good pick as far as the high potential. Again, there's some things he needs to work on. He needs to work on being able to find the ball. He doesn't have great ball skills. He has zero career interceptions at his time at Mississippi State. So he really needs to learn how to track the ball, being able to get his head turned around quick, and either break the play up or get his hands on the ball, intercept the ball, whatever. Now he definitely excels at tackling. He's very physical. He loves to get his nose into play, especially in running plays, running backs, sweeps, outside runs and stuff like that. So he does get dirty. He does make the play. He is uh, a great wrap up tackler. So he does have those two things going for him. He's a great cover guy. Press man. He's fast. He's physical. He makes the play. He does tackle. He just really needs to learn how to play the ball better, be able to get his hands on the ball more, and intercept the ball. Again, getting with NFL coaches, being able to coach him up, and not have to worry about going to class. As and when you're in school, you got to worry about class, and stuff like that. Now, this is your job. So now you can work on the things that you need to work on that you wasn't able to work on in college. And again, with that being said, he has high upside. He has a high ceiling that if he can get those things corrected, we got a hell of a cornerback. And like I said, again, we got him in round 4, and great value, great high-end upside talent. Now, this is my probably my favorite pick probably in this draft that we got. Linebacker Tommy Eichenberg from Ohio State. 6'2", 233, is a Robert Spillane clone. Robert Spillane is one of my favorite players on the team. And when I heard Tommy Eichenberg's name being drafted by the Raiders, I was like, wow, okay, great pick. Because again, Robert Spillane's my guy, and here we go. We're getting another guy like Robert Spillane. He's downright, gritty, um, physical linebacker that will get in your face. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's very instinctive, um, disciplined. He has disciplined eyes in the run game. He comes down. He tracks the ball. Ball carrier real well. Makes the play. He uses his hands. He's able to, get off blocks. He has great angles to the ball carrier to make the play. So he's one man that I'm really looking forward to seeing in camp, seeing what he does. He's going to be a green dot guy. Now I don't know what this means, for Robert Spillane. Hopefully we re-sign him. He is on the last year of his deal. So is Devon Diablo. The only linebacker that we had that we would have on the roster after this year would be Amari Burney. So going to get a linebacker just in case if we cannot, re-sign one of the two, Devon Diablo or Robert Spillane. Also, Luke Masterson is on the last year of his deal. So they really needed to get some depth in there. And like I said, if by some chance we were able to lose, Robert Spillane, hoping not. Like I said, that is my guy. He is a Raider. He definitely bleeds that silver and black. And I think Tommy Eichenberg is going to be the same. Like I said, I think he's going to be. It's almost going to be like a 2.0 when it comes to Tommy Eichenberg and Robert Spillane. With Tommy Eichenberg, he was the top 5 linebacker that we got in round 5. So the top 5 linebacker with these traits, and to get him in round 5. Another great value pick that Tom Telesco and AP was able to pull out the hat. So within our first uh, 5 picks, again, I mean, it's looking like it's a slam dunk. It's a home run. I mean, because they've hit everything that they possibly could hit, and even though if you look at it, like really hit the needs. We got a cornerback. We needed a cornerback. We got a cornerback. We needed offensive line help. We needed a tackle. We needed a guard. We addressed that in the second and the third round. So I know a lot of people was wondering, okay, when are we going to get a quarterback? Are we going to get a quarterback? And I was like, if we don't get a quarterback, that tells me that they have full confidence that Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell is the best to lead this team. I looked at it as, I was all, and if you seen any of the other videos, Jaden Daniels was my quarterback. Obviously, it was AP's quarterback as well. And I said, if we could not get Jaden Daniels, then we needed to like really address what we're going to do at the quarterback position. Do they feel like any of these other quarterbacks are better than what they have in the room? And obviously, they didn't feel that Spencer Rattler, Michael Pratt, Sam Hartman, those guys, Jordan Travis, they didn't feel like that those guys were better than what they had in the room. Now I do know that Michael Penix probably would have been the other quarterback that they would be looking at in the first round. Obviously, he went 8 to Atlanta. Jaden went second to Washington. Don't know if Bo Nix was on that radar or JJ McCarthy was on that radar. They didn't have the opportunity to find out. We didn't, as Raider Nation, didn't have that opportunity to find out because they wasn't available to us when we picked. So all the quarterbacks, as far as the top 5 or 6 quarterbacks, was already off the table. So we never know. We'll never know how they felt about the quarterbacks. But I do know, and they told us by what they did in the draft, that the other quarterbacks, they didn't feel that they were better than what they had in the room. So they may, they did go out and get a undrafted rookie to come in to compete. So now they got 4 quarterbacks on the roster, and they'll let them, compete it out and see who wins the job. They may bring somebody else in free agency, somebody gets cut or, something like that, if they feel they need to. But at this moment in time, they're saying that they're rolling with the quarterbacks that's already in the room, and they give us the best chance for us to win. Now, this next pick, running back Dylan Laube, we got in round 6. It's very intriguing. If you watch the Senior Bowl, or not the Senior Bowl, but the scouting combine, and you're watching the drills and stuff like that, it was a charismatic running back out there. That he was running around. He had energy, and if you remember when they cut. And, once the running backs got through doing all their drills and stuff, and they would run down, to the other end, and, guys are doing backflips and, stuff like that, celebrating. You had this one guy coming to the picture, and all of a sudden he started doing the DX, chop or whatever. That was Dylan Laube, what I'm saying? So that's the type of energy and, charismatic guy that we brought in the building, punch a lunch pail guy, hard hat, guy that's, ready to do the dirty work. And I think that's kind of what we're going to see Raider Nation when we get to camp. You're going to see a guy that's hungry. He had one offer in New Hampshire, in New York or whatever, and New Hampshire or whatever. So he's always had to fight. He's always had to claw to get what he's got, and to be drafted. And going and looking at all these guys, and that's what I was saying, about the Raider way and the culture, and the mentality that AP is trying to bring in that building. Is he wants guys that has not always had someone tell them, "Oh, you're the best," or "You're the greatest." Has never faced adversity, and once adversity hits, they don't know how to handle it. Every one of the guys that he's brought into the building has had some type of adversity that they were told that they were no good, that they may not be here. They've had to fight, claw, and scratch to get everything that they've earned, and that's that nonstop mentality that you're not going to take this away. What I have, you're gonna have you're not going to take it away from me. You know what I'm saying? So they're going to try to everything that they've got. They're going to try to hold on to it because they don't want it, want to let it go. So they're going to fight extra hard, and I think that's what you're going to see, especially from Dylan Lowby. I mean, Dylan was the best pass catching running back in his draft, bar none. His route running skills is pretty much unmatched out of any of the running backs that came out in his draft. I mean, you can line him up, coming out of the backfield. You can also line him up in the slot. Again, I'm not going to put this comparison on him. I'm just going to kind of give you an idea so that way you can kind of picture in your mind Christian McCaffrey. You know how they bring, Christian McCaffrey or Alvin Kamara, and they lined him up on the outside as a wide receiver in a slot, just because of their route running ability and how good, they can get in and out of their breaks and, run routes. That's what Dylan will bring to the table for us, Raider Nation. But where he's outstanding and where he's probably going to break his bread is special teams. He's a great special teams player, outstanding specialist, kick returner, punt returner, and thrives on a gunner. And he talked about it at his presser or whatever. He said that he loves special teams, that he understands that that's where he's going to have to break his bread. And then someone asked a question to Tom Telesco, and he said, "Well, he's smart. He knows what he's going to have to do to probably earn a roster spot and to make the team, especially with these new kickoff rules that the NFL changed to, is really going to benefit someone like a Dylan, Lowby, because of how quick he is, how fast he is, how elusive he is, how he can get in and out of his breaks. I think he's going to bring a different element to our kickoff and kick return and punt return aspect of our team. So I think, with that mindset and that toughness, and I mean, if you looked at some of his videos that he's made since he's been drafted, he's bought all in. I mean, he's like, I'm Raider Nation, I'm a Raider, I'm fixing to, they're fixing to get the best of me. And, so you want that, you want someone like that, that's going to bring that attitude, to the team. And like I said, we got him in round 6, running back that has these traits, being able to play special teams like he does, willing to play special teams like he does, effective and efficient in the special teams, but also as a running back, and be able to have the part of his game to where he can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can line up on as a slot receiver and run routes like a wide receiver. I mean, that's a dual threat Same thing with Brock Bowers. He's a tight end, but we can line him up as a running back. We can run sweeps with him. We can put him in a slot, put him on, a mismatch with the linebackers and safety. Same thing with Dylan Lowby. And they're just mismatched nightmares. So to have two of those in this draft, one in round one and one in round 6, again, Tom Telesco and AP was cooking in this draft, guys. I mean, just if you really break it down, I mean, they're just like out hitting it out the ballpark, man. Now this draft pick here, I was really surprised, and honestly, man, just going through the draft and trying to keep up with the names, and marking off on my big board and stuff like that of players that was coming off the board. Which, I mean, they were flying in the later rounds. I mean, they were pretty much just zooming by. That this guy right here was still on the board 1, and I'm like, round 7. I mean, Trey Taylor, safety from Air Force, 7th round. I mean, he won the Buckus Award. So I'm sorry, the Jim Thorpe Award, which is the award for the best defensive back in the country. So you got the Jim Thorpe Award for the best defensive back, still on the board, round 7. That's 1. 2, his cousin is Ed Reed, Hall of Famer, safety, Baltimore Ravens, Ed Reed. So he had a really good mentor to mentor him at the position that he's in Hall of Fame in. So he has the pedigree. So he won the Jim Thorpe Award. He's cousins with Ed Reed, a Hall of Famer. So he's been coached up, and has been mentored by someone like that. I mean, it's obvious that he has the skills. I mean, he's 6 foot 206, running 4.49 40. He can slide down in the box and cover tight ends. He's very fluid in his hips. He gets in and out of his breaks and runs with his receivers fluently. He is great at tackling. If he wraps you up, you're going down. He rarely misses a tackle, and that's what you want in your safeties because they're pretty much the last line of defense. If you get, if they get through everything else, you want your safeties to be exceptional tacklers because you want to get them on the ground. Regroup and keep them from scoring points. So you definitely want a hard hitting. Exceptional tackler, and that's what Trey Taylor brings to the game. All right, and the last pick that we picked up was MJ Devonshire, and he's a cornerback. All right, from Pitt. He's 5'11", 195 pounds. Runs a 4.45 40. Is another sticky cover cornerback. So it's kind of indication to me that Patrick Graham and AP, I guess they are wanting to run more man press coverage because of Jack Jones, how Jack Jones kind of thrives in the man press, get in your face type corner. And the 2 corners that they got in the draft are just that, get in your face, man press, sticky coverage, able to run, with the receivers. You got a 4.3 4.40 and you got a 4.45 40 corners that can run and stay with the receivers. I think you're going to see a lot of more man press coverages. Now he will get into zone and play zone. He likes to mix it up, and I like that. And if you go back into the Kansas City game, and how Jack Jones, they were running that, that man, press coverage, and how he was, getting all up into the receivers, and then he backed off. He gave him a look, and he backed off, and he baited Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes thought he was in one coverage. He threw it. Jack Jones jumped the route, took it to the house, let Patty Mahomes know whose house it was. So they're going to run mixture of coverages. Kind of not let you know what they're in, but when you are in that man press, man to man scheme, you got to have cornerbacks that are physical and able to run with the receivers. And I think we got two guys in this draft that can definitely do that. So one of the things that Devin Shire needs to work on, he needs to work on his back pedals, and get his hips turned around, quicker. He does struggle in that aspect. He does struggle in being able to tackle. He's a willing tackler, but he's not great at it. He does miss a lot of tackles, and one of the things that I've seen on tape is that whenever he was in zone, he gives too much coverage, too much leverage, and not being a willing or great tackler is a bad recipe, because he missed a lot of tackles because he played off too far or too much or whatever. So that's something that he's going to have to work on at the next level. Is to one, you got to be able to make the tackles when the tackles are there to be made, and whenever he is in off coverage in zone or whatever, not to give up so much leverage, because he's fast enough to be able to make up for getting beat if he does get beat or whatever. So a lot of times when corners play off that much, as they have a fear of letting the receiver behind them, and for the big play. So again, that's some things that he can coach up at the next level with the coaches, get him in the building or whatever. But again, he has high upside. So all seven guys that AP and Tom Telesco brought in the building is high upside talent, that if it's tapped into and they're able to get that talent unleashed, we got seven ball players that is going to be on this team contributing this year. All right. So what are your thoughts, Raider Nation? How do you feel about this draft? Like I said at the beginning of this episode, I love the draft. I think we did a hell of a job with the players that we brought into the building. The players that we drafted, I think, has really good high upside, and if it works out, and and that talent is displayed in camp and in preseason, I think you're going to see some really good players going forward for us in the future. So I think it was a home run. I would give it a B plus, just for the simple fact that the guys that we brought in, they're not complete yet. Other than Brock Bowers and Jackson Powers Johnson, I think they can step on the field tomorrow and be just fine. Glaze, Richardson, Eichenberg, Taylor, Laube, and Devonshire, they got some work to do. So I don't expect them to be able to step on the field day one as it's constructed right now, and be able to contribute. So that's why I give it a B plus, just because if they do tap into that potential, and the coaches can get that out of them, then I think we're in a really good spot. So I don't know how far can you go back as far as draft and say that the Raiders had a really good draft. Like I said, for me, 2014 was mine. I mean, that's a decade ago, and then that's sad that I have to go back 10 years to say that that was the last draft class that I can say coming out of it that it was a home run. So, your thoughts on that, and um, hopefully, you feel the same way that I do. So, all right, Raider Nation, thank you for again for tuning in. I hope you guys liked the podcast. If you did, like and subscribe. Commitment to bring you excellent podcasts. Be on the lookout. I will be coming back with some more draft, breakdowns, and hopefully I can get my guy EP on with me to get his perspective of what he thought about the draft, so we can do another draft breakdown for you guys. But until then, you guys stay up, Raider Nation.